The 1.3 billion was supposed to help us to reach 800,000 metric tons. We have only done 400,000. The ministry or Cocoa Board did not respond to that. They only said that the money cannot be accounted for. Now, the question is, if they went to Parliament to ask for the agreement to be signed, how is it that Parliament, that's superintended over the agreement, does not have the detail of how much has been spent so far? That's a question for the gods. But Razak Opoku writes on economy, technology, and energy. Odenho ready for MPP victory in Ashanti. Bagbin Mahama attack Supreme Court ruling. Tells plaintiff to seek review. He says he wants more money, Justice Abdullahi. Energy Digest says hiking LPG price will decline consumption. LPG Marketers Association find in Ghana's energy sector friend and partner. Brent crude hits $117 per barrel. Baumia campaigns for alternatives energy sources. Ghana challenged on oil gas development. Nanado and Germany warns against ban on energy imports from Russia. The Custodian newspaper is next. It says Amin Adam decries global unfairness in renewable energy infrastructure. Government consoles families of Apiati disaster or tragedy. SC ruling, Supreme Court ruling promotes parliamentary democracy. Obi Amwa is Deputy Minister for Local Government. Political party organization, not one-man affair, COCA, and trade fair redevelopment project starts soon there. The Republic Press is next. It says, teacher allegedly beats colleague teacher girlfriend to death in Ejumako. ECG to increase tariffs. Wow. I'm a champion in Africa because food security in Ghana has improved. Our Greek minister brags. Okay, where's the food? That's somebody who asks. Wounded Bagbin runs amok. Attacks Akufo-Addo in judiciary over Supreme Court ruling. Kwawu to get first private airport soon as EPA gives green light. And 9 students perish at Subway as bus crashes into abandoned truck. The Daily Graphic is next. It says, maintain credible, authentic publications. NMC tells Graphic as board takes office. And also, General Hospital construction begins. Why deputy speakers can vote. Supreme Court has explained that. It comes with a photo of the Leonard Yoni Kolenti, exalted judge of the Supreme Court. The Finder newspaper, government commiserates with Apiati as explosion victims are laid to rest. Stella Holding of Singapore to hold state-of-the-art trade fair complex. MPP forms available online. John Boydu says so. I'm sure you know that's the main bane why people are fighting each other. 469 killed in 2 months of 2022 in road crashes as decrease of 9.28% as motorcycles alone killed 205. Daily Guide is next. Teacher kills fiancé. Bagbin blows 1.1 million on Dubai trips. SC explained decision on deputy speakers. 14 perish on Accra Kumasi highway. The BNFT says 70% of home buyers are local residents. Greta, the Green Exchange to help local businesses raise capital at 4 to 6%. 8% of Ghana standards, GSEs, trading done by foreigners. Analysts for impact on the economy in case of mass exit, and pension funds not resilient enough to withstand economic shock. Finally, the Ghanaian Times. 9 UAE students killed in road crash at Esuboi. NLA donates 100,000 to Apiati Support Fund, and Kufredia Hospital gets dialysis center. Danger looms at Wager Reservoir as residents live in fear due to illegal sand weighing. And Kufredia is getting that dialysis center. The guys with their kidney issues say it's too expensive, so people actually abandon the treatment. But I've been joined this morning by the Honorable Governance Kwame Agboja. He is the Member of Parliament for the Adaklu constituency. I call him Adaklu Messiah. I haven't seen him in a long while. And also Sylvester Tete. He is also the Member of Parliament for English Amanfo Botiano. Is that right?
Correct. Botiano English Amanfo.
Botiano English Amanfo. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is a very beautiful kaftan you have on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have style. Kwame, welcome. How are you doing?
Not bad.
Are you going to court today? Your address like a lawyer.
Here court, I fear. We have a village. I don't. What happens in court is above my comprehension.
I see. Interesting. Let's begin. I mean, I'm sure yesterday you heard about the unfortunate loss of lives. 9 students. You are a member of the Roads and the committee in Parliament. How did that hit you?
Mr. Hughes, good morning, and good morning to your cherished viewers, especially those from the Adako constituency. Yes, it's been a while. I've been trying to
absolutely
focus on private stuff as well. So I've been behind, but watching you almost every day.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you and your hosts and the network for what you've done so far. Well, road accidents have become something that we talk about all the time, but we forget that anytime you hear that, it is that child possibly who is not going to have the support network for fees, is that wife who's probably going to become a single mother, is that, a business who is going to collapse because the center of that business is gone. So it's a very serious matter. But the sad part of this is that the MTTD keeps telling us a vast majority of road crashes in this country are as a result of driver error.
Right.
Including yesterday, when you travel along, especially our road, you will notice that the behavior of some drivers does not suggest any responsibility on behalf of the person in charge of the vehicles.
That's right.
Vehicles themselves that don't move and kill people and crash. People in charge of vehicles make those decisions. I agree that they call it accident. There are reasons why a vehicle, a mechanical system in a vehicle can fail catastrophically. But majority of the time is either overspeeding, tiredness, lack of maintenance of the vehicle, and the road conditions.
Right.
So we have a shared responsibility on behalf of government to make sure that the roads and the alignment of road and specific sections are done in such a way that they can reduce the impact of road crashes. We have responsibility as owners of vehicles to make sure that the conditions set out, especially for commercial vehicles, 2 times a year you need to go and do roadworthiness and all those things are done. And the person in charge of the vehicle, I see it all the time. You are driving along, and the trotro driver thinks that the people who are in the queue don't have anything to do. So they have responsibility to get, so they use the side road, they use this, they do that, then they cut in. The police, unfortunately, the police are more interested in arresting people like me today. Yes, exactly, than those people. So we can all help reduce carnage on our road. I sincerely don't believe you can bring any other law to make any more difference. The only thing I'm worried about is that when we change the road, National Road Safety Commission to an authority, we said in that law that we were going to operationalize that through the district assemblies, i.e. government need to give them money to be able to be represented at even at Daklu. Collaborate with the assembly so that they can do proper road.
Have we done that?
No. We passed that law because even at their national headquarters, quotas in terms of how much people they can recruit. They don't even have the full complement of people at even the national office, let alone regional office and then district offices. And like the last week, I was asking the minister, I have never, there are 2 radio stations in Adaklu. I have never heard a road safety advert on any radio station in Adaklu. They concentrate.
The 2 stations
I don't. They concentrate. Yes, they concentrate on your network, on the multimedia network. It's as if road accident is about Accra. But the guy who caused an accident on the motorway today might have been a driver coming from Adaklu. But he's not aware of anything. So the way they do, public education on road safety has to also change. But guess what? Where is the money? Go and check the budget. A portion of what we give to National Road Safety Authority come from the road fund. Road fund has been mortgaged. They can't even find enough money to pay the over 9 billion they owe road contractors, let alone be thinking of sending money to National Road Safety Authority.
Says sometimes their dilemma is that they're able to gather money, but who do we give the money to? Because it's a challenge. No. If I give to Kwame, Sly will come and say,
you know why he says that?
Why did he say that?
Because there's a sad story in this country where every fund, earmarked fund we create, end up not doing that. Today, when you pay when you access a service, you see get fund levy.
Right.
When you pay, a chunk of that money goes to do a repayment on a loan. It doesn't go to pay a contractor who has worked on a classroom block in your area. When you pay ESLA, you think that energy sector levy. You think that is money going straight to address the financial challenges in the energy sector. No, it goes to pay make a repayment on loan they've taken on ESLA. NHIS, road fund. When you pay your buy fuel today, which is the biggest we've ever had in our history. And I have a recommendation for government.
Tell me.
If
we are listening,
you have to go back and review every contract you have awarded to other road contractors and building contractors. Why? Today, cement is more than 60 cedis in some parts of the country. At the time the guy bidded for the job, cement was 35 cedis. So if the price doubles and you are still expecting the same quality of work from the contractor, you are not being realistic. So you either have to go and review all road contractors to get better job, otherwise expect shortage work, because contractors are not charities. Even charities get their money from somewhere. They are just struggling. A road contractor today who probably was using maybe a bulldozer can take 2 drums of diesel.
Right.
And that was around 400 and something at some time ago. Today, that could be more than 2,000. How do you expect that person to be able to do that work and be able to even break even and make profit? So my recommendation, go back and review many of the contracts, because the price at the time of award and the time they are going to finish wouldn't make sense. So the point I'm making
the
about
recommendation that the government needs to go back to look at some of the contracts.
Yes, look at them. To be fair to the contractor, because they're also Ghanaians.
There's one issue about road markings and street lights. Yeah. Has it come before your committee in Parliament?
Yes, well, many roads are not even completed, let alone mark them.
I'm talking about the ones that are completed, road markings and street lights.
Yes.
It's dangerous on all our highways. Accra, Kumasi, Accra, Cape Coast, Accra, Accra, Volta, Kumasi, Techiman, Tamale is dangerous.
Look, when many modern vehicles today have a system where when you're driving, the vehicle through radar can tell that this is the median, this is the middle of the road, this is your section.
That's right.
So you will notice that if you veer across the white line, the vehicle will
start beeping.
Beeping. And if you do that a number of times, it tells you what? Stop and take a rest. The vehicle is thinking that you are sleeping.
Right.
But the truth is that you are deliberately dodging potholes on the way. I don't know, between the road marking on the road, I don't know of many roads in this country that I can drive 10, 15 kilometers without meeting a pothole. I'll prefer they use the money to do the pothole, because that is causing more problems than if the road is actually, the road surface is done. I see no reason why they shouldn't do the road marking. But currently, in my view, the biggest problem we have is the condition of the road itself, not the road marking. But those roads that are completed, if you haven't seen road marking, partly it is simply because the contractor is owed money and he needed that money paid so that he can go and finish. Because one road marking comes, that's road furniture and this thing. Right. It means the government can take over.
You're suggesting, and that's my final question to you, you're suggesting that some of the roads have not been done, but I'm sure you have also seen government is re-asphalting roads and a lot of work is happening. A lot of pictures are being shared around. Haven't you seen them?
We're going to speak, the minority is going to speak to roads shortly. I've also taken notice of the road ministers the last meet the press, and then they issued a statement that they've done 4,200 kilometers of road. Mr. Hughes, if you take that, the breakdown, the length of road that is actual new construction in the 4,200 kilometers is 68 kilometers. Out of the 4,000 kilometers, 4,200 kilometers the minister put out as roads completed, less than 69% are actual roads, new roads built. A chunk of it, over 1,000 kilometers of those roads are called roads they've done through re-graveling.
What does that mean?
Well, your road is bumpy, it's rough, so somebody comes to put few more trips of gravel on it and then just spread it. That is what this government is calling, we have constructed 4,200 kilometers. And sometimes spot improvement. Okay, a section is pothole. So let's say from here to Tema, they go and do maybe 27 kilometers, 30 kilometers. Right. They go and do spot improvement on short distance, maybe pothole, 50 potholes. Then they capture the 27 kilometers as 27 kilometers that have been done. It is in the report. Very ridiculous. Extremely ridiculous and not being faithful to the people of this country. I have every reason to say that across the country, There are road projects going on. But the problem we have is this. Cocoa Road Board alone has awarded projects currently close to 15 billion Ghana cedi old contractors or value of a project on their books. 15 billion. Government themselves owe contractors on certified projects. 8 billion are going to 9 billion. In fact, if you give them all e-levy, it will not close the gap. This is just the road sector. So the question is, yes, you mentioned asphaltic overlay. Yes, it's true. Every government lays asphalt. And I've been saying that I have seen President Mahama lay asphalt in every regional capital. In fact, including districts. Hokwe is not a regional capital in Volta region. But we were having asphalt in Hokwe before NPP came. Today, for the past 6 years that NPP have been in government, the only place they've laid asphalt in Volta region is continue a bit on the road leading to Ho, the Dwakari leading to Ho, and Hokwe. No other place in the Volta region have they laid, not even in Ho town have they laid a millimeter of asphalt.
I see.
But these are all achievements. So yes, today when you go through some corners in Accra, yeah, you see asphalt. Yes, we have approved, myself and my brother have approved some of those things in Parliament, and it's what? It's good. When they lay asphalt on the road, it makes the road longer. But when is asphalt going to get to Adaklu? When is it going to get to his constituency? We need to do more to be able to improve the roads. But the temptation of sexing up the figures. I mean, you built 68 kilometers of road as new roads, and then you come and put it out there that you built 4,200 kilometers of road, and then if you go and check the record, it's about regraveling, spot improvement. I mean, who are you kidding with?
I hear you. It's like the 9 UU students' death has brought a lot of issues this morning. We'll get into the Supreme Court's ruling, but first take a bite on this one.
Well, thank you very much. Let me say a very good morning to our viewers and my senior brother, and then to one very humble gentleman who is celebrating his birthday today, the Deputy Director General of NADMO, Seji Saji.
Yes. That's my friend.
Yes, I wish him
hardworking man.
Yeah, very hardworking, very a background person, hardworking. I wish him happy birthday today. And quick one, I think it's quite unfortunate. We've had these accidents on our roads, on one too many.
Yeah.
The number of people and lives we are losing in this country. We should be at the state where we call it a pandemic, because it's quite unfortunate. I can't believe it that in less than a year we've lost over 5,000 people to road accidents.
First quarter.
What is happening to us as a country? It's a shame. And I think the causes are known. I mean, this is not what you say, we are going to investigate what that is. Yesterday, I had a call from a young lady who said she is bringing a team of people to my constituency to research and find out what the people really need. As a young lady, if you have resource, bring it. I can tell you what the needs are. Right. I mean, some of them, when you walk around, you will see them. You don't need to be told. You don't need the research to be told.
You have done your work already.
So obviously, the causes of these road accidents are known. Some could be blamed on government. Because look, how on earth should we still be traveling on a single lane from Accra to Kumasi? In the 21st century. Look, the risk levels are too high. Anytime I apply that road, look at the volume of traffic on that road. And we have to travel on this road on a single lane.
In fact, Cape Coast, Takrady, Volta, same.
I mean,
all our exit roads.
I mean, these are roads that should be dual carriage. And I'm happy that effort are being made to get them done, but at a slow pace. Seriously speaking, you go to Tema motorway to Dawenya. It's terrible. But today I'm happy because the contractors are on site doing repositioning of service lines and all that. But for how long?
But people have encroached too. It's like
no, yes, but government has to bear the brunt. Because we've shared our responsibility for people to have even built in a road. I've seen some buildings, I'm not an engineer, but obviously it tells you that it has eaten into the buffer. Today, motorway has lost its usefulness because the buffer created and the purpose for that road has been depleted. Accra Kumasi, Today, we are talking about it because it involves students. Do you know how many market women have lost their lives on that road? Do you know future presidents, future engineers we've lost on that road? If we should quantify Accra Kumasi alone, I won't be surprised in the last 20 years we'll be counting over 500,000 people. And this is serious. So like he's saying, reckless driving, overspeeding, who is enforcing all these things on our roads? Look, can't we get people arrested even after they have arrived successfully in Accra by recklessly driving on our roads? We fixed over 10,000 cameras.
Right.
Are we using them? And this is not politics. I mean, I think we should get to the level where we have to take politics out of some of these things. Look, these young men and women who might have lost their lives today, who knows their political affiliation? You can't tell.
They're dead.
These are people trained to become teachers, lawyers, engineers, to serve our society. You can't tell. We've lost them. And it should not be politicized. That is why, look, the road sector, the debt levels are huge. I must admit that. I must admit that, because if you look at how much government owe to all road contractors, IPCs that are presented today is in excess of over 10 billion that need to be paid. The one outstanding, if they should complete everything, is over 24 billion.
Do we have the money?
We don't have the money. Hughes, these are conversations, and every corner of this country, we asking for roads. Look, come to my constituency. Look at the community.
No, your place is a special case. Oh.
It's a special case. Look, I tell you, I'm writing a letter to the road committee
when you are climbing
in Parliament.
Up, it's a
Look,
special case.
Seriously, people are in Accra, they are cut off. It's amazing. Yes, government has made intervention. If you come to my constituency, look, where Asamoah lives, Broadcasting Road. Today, I'm happy because it's been done. But that's the tip of the iceberg. And we are losing revenue. If you see mansions that are put up for the local assembly to be able to collect revenue, if you live there, you won't pay. They can't even access the homes to collect the revenue. Street naming and the rest, you go to the place, some places are cut off. The assembly officers cannot access the place. Their pickups cannot go there. And houses have been built there. Residents are suffering. Look, there's a headline about the Wager Dam,
That's right.
the encroachment and all that. Look, I tell you, we're shedding our responsibility as people of this country. But this has gone on.
We have officials that we pay.
Yeah, that is why I'm saying
and
that.
they hide behind the politicians.
But for
not
me,
to do their work.
Look, there are people who have been, look, at most you transfer them. And they are being moved around in the local government service, in the public service. Look,
Same people.
Same people. They only shuffle around. But we don't bite to ensure that they do their work. Seriously, these accidents, some of them are needless. You can't call them accidents. And we quickly hide behind the fact that Blake failure and all these things. And they are not, they are, I can't believe it. If you drive on that road and you see how people drive, you'll be shocked to know that some of them don't even have driver's license. If they do have driver's license, they are Uber drive. Their license can only drive light with license B or even D. But they drive big trucks and long buses and all that on the roads. It's terrible. We have to speak to it. And this is not politics. So the road sector, yes, we have a problem as a country. The whole thing is that we have to look at our budget since the 1966 till now. Every budget is in deficit. You have to borrow to be able to fund your budget. Today, even with e-levy, government is expected to spend over 135 billion. All the revenues we collect put together is about 100 billion. So there's an excess deficit of about 37 billion. You have to look elsewhere for it. Where are you going to get it from? And it's not for free.
But like Kwame mentioned, for example, that there are road patches, regraveling, whatever that
I will come
the
to
government does and says these are new roads.
No, I'm not saying government says it's new. I have the data here. Look,
okay, share with me.
To be honest with you, whether it's a sport improvement and all that, is captured as such. That one, no two ways about that. I mean, I'm not too sure government will do a sport improvement or feeder road. It is categorized. And I've seen it. The portions that are feeder road, sport improvement, all these things are quantified. So when Kwame says that, yes, somebody can say we've done this number of kilometers. But as to the details, it is reported to Parliament. It is reported in official documents.
Why don't you tell the people?
Oh, no, but of course, listen. Let me say we've done 30 kilometers of road in your commentary, obviously it will be difficult to say 10% is sport improvement, 2% is feeder road, 3% is urban roads. But he knows that all these reports are detailed.
But doesn't it give an impression to the people when say I've done 40 kilometers of road? People then think that, oh, it's an entirely new stretch.
No,
that has been
let me tell you
worked
something. The people that are clamoring for sport improvement, feeder roads, you'll be shocked. Ask him
The numbers.
where he's coming from. His constituency. Some of them are not asking you to come and do asphalt for. They don't want it. They want the sport improvement. They want the feeder roads. They want the access. So everybody in our system is captured.
In fact, I saw a dangerously made speed ramp on the way towards the mountain.
Yeah.
I
So
saw
you
it
see,
in this
so
context.
when you see the report,
have
it
done
is
the-
when
the
government
speed ramp
says when
because-
government says that you and I have access to that document, and government has reported accurately that these stretch of roads are sport improvement, feeder roads, urban roads, trunk roads, and all that. I'm not sure anything is hidden from anybody.
But then the road fund, for example, he also mentioned that we are unable to pay the contractors because of what we have done with the money.
My brother, if you take road fund, how much comes to the road fund? Vis-a-vis how much road pressure or bills we have to pay. Truth be told, he knows it. Road fund is not enough to pay all our bills in the road sector. That's a fact. It is not. So when you have the road fund, obviously, sometimes government are compelled to even, when the pressure mounts, that you have to get some roads done. And then this happened. If you know these are your inflows, but it comes a bit, and you have pressure to complete some roads, you can mortgage and complete the roads and continue paying. It's a financial arrangement. That there's nothing wrong with it. Okay? Whilst you are getting the money in drips, the road is sport. The people are suffering. And you know in the next 5 years, you can pay off the contractor. Why don't you get into financial arrangement, get the money, pay the contractor, get the road done, and continue paying the
But
bank?
the bigger picture is that if you are looking for it to 5% of all your revenue as part of your district assembly common fund, and you're already capping things, that means that you are shortchanging the development of the district as well.
No, I don't. I mean that one.
So
is
5%. Your
No,
district assembly
eight-
common
eight-
fund
no,
is 5%
yes.
of all your domestic
total
revenue.
revenue.
Total revenue. It's total revenue.
Thank you. So now if you are capping all these things, you
How you
cap
capping it?
NHIL, you cap this,
Through the capping
you
act.
go and
Oh, no,
mortgage
the capping-
this, you go and do this, go and do this.
no, but-
How do you get the 5% of the full
Oh
benefit?
no. But if you look at it, it's total revenue. I mean, somebody went to court. Bodo.
Yeah.
Right.
Bodo is always looking at the accounting.
Right.
If you look at, I'm on the local government committee.
Right.
in
That's why I'm
Parliament.
asking you that
Yes.
question.
We have agencies and institutions have battled this capping, but the capping doesn't mean the true records have not come to government.
No, the records can come. I'm
It
saying
comes to
the
come, but it
deduction
doesn't affect-
and the
no.
utilization of the funds.
No, it doesn't affect. You are an agency of state. You've collected so amount of IGF, and he said keep this and bring this to central government. It doesn't mean it's not part of the total revenue government receives.
I don't doubt that. I'm saying
Yes.
that I'm supposed to get 5% upfront. Once
No, there's nothing like upfront.
Once the money is collected, I get my 5%.
Yes, it's a total.
Now,
but
now
I'm saying
now
that
you have capped the money. How do I get my 5%?
no, it doesn't affect.
So am I getting
total-
5% of what you have capped? Am
no,
I
no, no,
getting
no, 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 no.
5% after you have
You
capped?
have a total revenue, but it is what is coming to central government. What remains with you? That is where the capping is. So when you do the collection, for instance,
NHI.
DVLA.
Yeah, DVLA.
DVLA,
Right.
you collect 200 million.
Right.
The 200 million you collect, there's a capping as to what you can keep, what can go to
Okay.
the central government.
Okay.
What goes to central government and all that you collected becomes, what do you call it? The total revenue.
But does the common fund get the 5% of the 200 million?
Of course, the common fund gets it. Unless somebody...
They get it.
They get it.
Okay.
But of course, if you go to common fund, there hasn't been a time. The question is that you do projections in a budget.
Okay.
That I'll collect
X amount.
80 million
Right.
a year. So to begin with, that is the formula. Based on that, common fund does its formula and comes to parliament. You go into revenue collection, you don't end up getting the 80 million. So somebody will say, we were expecting this much and it didn't come. Check your revenue inflow.
But just I'm not interjecting.
Sorry, actually, his time is up as well. So I was coming to you.
Is that when it comes to the total revenue,
It's down 4 minutes more.
yeah, the problem is that for the statutory funds, the capping act is a very retrogressive and counterproductive thing.
Why? Government needs to regulate
Today,
stuff.
road fund will generate about 2 billion Ghana cedi. Now, the road fund will end up getting just about 1 billion to do road work. The finance minister takes away about 1 billion, then 900,000, 1 billion to a central pool.
Yeah.
Then after 3 years, the same road minister the finance minister tries to pay road contractors whose certificate have been with him for 3 years.
Yeah.
Guess what? Sometimes the interest on the delayed payment is 40%
Of what is left.
Yes, so government pays 100 cedis towards a road project, but gets 60 cedis worth of road. So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, if you go into
It doesn't make sense. Stop the capping today.
That's what I was asking Sly.
No, but yours,
and-
where you were going it has to do with total revenue. But I think he's bringing more details.
Yeah. So you stop the capping. Look, today, when the GET fund, the contractors have done 6 unit classroom block, 600,000, 700,000, who have not been paid, who are threatening to go and close down the school blocks. But we have mortgage GET fund through Dachi. In fact, Parliament must begin to look at this. It is okay if you say, look, I'm expecting this revenue. In fact, by the way, we have exceeded revenue for the past 3 years anyway. In this year, we shall exceed revenue. Minus the e-levy, if whether it can be because by the time we read the budget, how much was fuel? Today, I'm paying more taxes on everything because the volumes and everything
has gone up.
That is it. But that is the government.
Has your income gone up too?
No, that is the point I'm making. So today,
Government expenditure has gone up.
The teacher 4%, a meager 4% increase is still 4%, but the transport fares have gone up. The rent has gone up. But so how do you expect these people to be able to do
But the
anything?
government says we're cutting down 20%.
No, but that you know that is just as somebody will say in Twitter, because which part of the, look, my brother, which part of the budget can the finance minister tell us which part he's cutting the 20%? Because can he reduce salaries? No. Can he stop paying interest on the debt? No. The only thing he can cut is maybe money is going to the office of the president and discretionary spending. But because you cannot decide to cut back on debt you owe to foreigners and banks and other things. You cannot reduce people's salary. You cannot. What are you going to cut? So you hear them say we are cutting salary, cutting the expenditure by 20%. He said, Hughes, ask them what are you cutting?
Expenditure, some goes into capital expenditure.
Yes,
we know. So
yes.
as we cry, and we want to cut down on expenditure. If you look at what goes into consumption, and then you look at capital expenditure, like you are saying, consumption, like salaries.
It takes a huge chunk of everything.
It takes a huge chunk of our money. So my fear is that capital expenditure will suffer. Already, what we spend on payment of our interest and there is more than what we spend on capital expenditure. And that is the fear I have, that if we are not careful, this push to cut down expenditure, it is the infrastructure and capital expenditure that is going to suffer. Honestly, that is where my greatest fear is. Yeah, because we need infrastructure.
But the finance minister announced this. They did not know this.
Of course, he knows. But obviously, these are austere measures that we all need to take.
But he's going to get windfall money from windfall as well.
The oil.
Yes, he's going to make windfall. So they are not telling that side of the story.
Listen, that particular analysis, obviously, the balance is not always positive on our side. If you look at our export, our import, the trade imbalance. Yes, so it is not always the case that you have a windfall from there. Look at what you are also losing from the other side of the trade balance, which is also dangerous. Yes, you have the windfall, but at the same time.
But that was unexpected. You said we're going to sell at $62 per barrel.
Yeah, 117 this
now you're making 117.
But you are not a net exporter. The key operative word, you are not a net exporter, you are a net importer.
Okay.
So when you net it off, it goes against you. So you take one side of it. So if you are a net exporter, then you are good to go. You can celebrate. But when you are a net importer, obviously it goes against you. That is why we must industrialize this country so that we reduce the level of import of some consumables as a country.
But that was your promise from
taxation
to industrialization.
Of course, you see the step. You don't get it. You need to look. There are a lot of companies coming up today and a 1D1F. The private sector is doing so well. We need to keep supporting them. But in supporting them, it's not only about the funding, and then because 1D1F companies, a lot of exemption for equipment has been granted them. When they do the production, as of today, the capacity of Ekumfi, and if you look at the volume of importation of fruit juice into this country, it's a disincentive to the company, as it were. Locally, we should all be rallied to support local industries, to curb down the
if we, for example, decide that we're going to block whatever comes in, say rice, sugar, all those things that, you know, hurt us largely, do we have the local capacity?
Yes, that is why we are
saying, we have the local capacity?
That's why we are saying that the government drive and the government vision for us to do these things locally, we must all support it. What is being done at the local level, how to improve the quality of processing, and then the local taste for foreign goods should also be appealed to Ghanaians to be able to adapt a taste change so that people can go for it. So yes, we have a windfall, but the net of it is we are net importers, we are not net exporters. So obviously Ghana will suffer.
So are you saying that the windfall means nothing really?
Oh, but is in total, yes, you on your books, yes, you have a windfall, but the other side of the balance obviously is high,
which we were enduring already.
We've been enduring, and more is coming. You look at the incidence of COVID, the global economy, and all that. Now, the cost of capital will obviously be higher than before.
But
it's also a cost to you.
Right.
You are heavily dependent on import. The crude that we say we are having a windfall, obviously, like I said, you import more than perhaps what you. Now, there's a call to reduce taxes on petroleum and all that. It affects your revenue generation. When government takes the bold decision to reduce the petroleum taxes, the stabilization levy, when it's reduced and all that, it will affect you. So when you put all together, it is not that just say, look at the windfall to say we are going to make a windfall. Look at the other expenditures.
But we're also looking at the net on net effect of this windfall. The net on net effect.
It's not positive on Ghana's side.
But you see,
it is not.
I hear you. Mr. Hughes,
yes.
It is not even the case that when government reduces tax on petroleum products, they even lose money all the time. Because you and I pay a tax, which is like price stabilization levy.
That's right.
Which is basically an average of 500 million we put aside every year to be able to, for government to draw on. The question is, have you drawn down on that? So far, can we say we have spent that 500 million?
Kojo has been asking for where that money is.
So, but you see, Mr. Hughes, take it from me. The 10 billion he said we owe road contractors. If you don't take time, by the time we are paying, 4 billion of that is interest. So tell me that.
How is that? Because of the delay?
Delays. So I'm saying that if we are able to do these things better, you probably don't need e-levy. Or even if the e-levy comes, it comes as an additional revenue.
You are certainly opposed to the e-levy.
The principle is that I don't see why, if I get a call this morning that a constituent is in trouble, like he's got admission to his university and he's not able to pay. He's paid part, but it's not enough. Otherwise, he's going to be withdrawn. And I attempt to send him or her money to top up and pay. I don't see why government should tell me and that child that give me part of that money. It's just like telling me open your bank account and give me part of your money.
It's
not an exception. So if somebody goes to put a deceased relative at a morgue and decide to pay using Momo digitally, you still want to take up that money. It's absurdity of taxation. Look, why don't you, the telcos already charge a certain amount of money on fees. Let's talk about those ones. Because that one is a fee they are providing through your bank and other things. We can talk about that.
Government gets a portion of that.
Exactly. So you see, and Mr. Hughes, I walk around my constituency and I see things and I know, including myself. My mother was nobody, but she looked after me. And I've got aunties who sell tomatoes in Home Market as I speak today. But they've got children in tertiary institutions. You tell me that you are considering my sister, my auntie, as somebody who is not paying tax, but it is your responsibility to fund education. You are not able to do that. So if she sells tomatoes and able to fund the child education at the university, he's helping government. He's helping government. In any case, why from this thing that people who are not teachers or the informal sector are not paying tax? If a trotro driver who is not in the formal sector buys petrol and there's tax on petrol. Is that not tax?
Kwame.
What are we talking about here?
Kwame.
So the plantain seller.
This is what we are talking
No,
about.
the plantain seller.
Kwame.
You know,
the
I'll give you.
in fact, I'm saying that if you take your 14-year-old, your 13-year-old son to the movies, when you buy the ticket, does he use your ticket?
But somebody makes an argument, for example, that Islam coming. Somebody makes the argument that look, the mason, the carpenter, the plumber, they go to the site, they get 120 cedis, 100 cedis, tax free.
What do they do with the money?
I don't know.
They go and buy materials.
Kwame, when we all earn our salary, income tax is deducted.
Exactly. So break it down and say that they don't pay part of the taxes you want them to pay.
Okay.
But don't pretend that they don't pay taxes. Because if he goes back to buy wood, if the carpenter goes back to buy wood and take a trotro to bring the wood, he is paying taxes, indirect taxes to those things.
But how do we rope them in to pay what they are not paying?
I believe in fair taxation. I'm saying that carpenter is performing a duty in countries that you do say these things. It simply means that when people are unemployed, you pay them unemployment benefits and other things. So if somebody is looking after a child and then all of a sudden loses his job, the state takes up the responsibility to look after the child.
That's right.
In Ghana, it is your mother who needs to continue doing that because the state doesn't take responsibility. So I'm saying that we should not be pretending that people who are not working in offices like this are not paying taxes. You can differentiate and say that they don't pay certain parts of taxes, and we can talk about those things. But I don't believe my auntie selling tomatoes at the home market today is somebody who doesn't pay taxes.
So you are against the wholesale
exactly, because the whole district and municipal assembly will charge her this morning for some levies for entering the market to sell. So she is paying taxes. Income tax, do you want her to pay? Okay, if you can determine how much you can call her income today for selling tomatoes, you can go and charge her. But that is fair. I can agree you should go and charge her. But don't pretend she's not paying any tax.
I hear you. Sly,
Kwame,
you disagree with Kwame on this analysis.
Look, you see, if that's the way you want to go, obviously when you earn your salary, you spend it. So say, don't take me direct tax. Let me
start doing this.
So we kept making the point that the number of people, our labor force, including your auntie, the carpenter you talked about that pay direct taxes, are just about 2.5 million of our population. Indirect taxes, you can't run away from it. So that's the fact. And we are saying that direct taxes, you need to expand your tax net. Look, direct taxes are taxes that you can actually quantify.
Right.
But indirect, you can't. You can't do proper planning with it. So if you have about 30 million and about 2.8 million are the only people paying the direct taxes, how do you plan? That's the point we're making.
But they are paying.
Again, no, Kwame, that's an indirect tax.
I'm just telling you that the 10 million you talk about.
Kwame.
4 million of that.
He said that the delay would occasion a raise in how much we pay.
Yeah.
So let's say we owe 10 billion. If we delay, 4 billion more will be added.
But you think any government will intentionally delay payment? I've just told you that this year budget that was approved in Parliament, government programs that we all approved, the policy of government needed 137 billion to fund it. Our revenues,
even if you add there
is about 145 billion to fund it. How much are we making as a country? 100 billion, including the yield levy. That is in contention. So if you even take the yield levy out of it, the 6.9, it means you are not making the 100 billion.
But government should have done the projection right to be able to get these, or we hope that.
No, but that's all we've done. That's all the projections we've done, and the projections is coming to it. Already. We've lost 2 months of
Don't see
the in fact, three months.
We've lost 3 months. So obviously we can't make 100 billion. How do you fund your 145 billion?
12 million as well as a result of the illegal cessation of road tolls.
Kwame.
That can pay.
The road minister said we didn't lose anything.
We shall see. We shall.
Kwame.
How can you
say allow me?
We'll come to that. Allow him.
So seriously speaking, this is the economy on table. With all the revenues and everything, it's amounting to 100 million. 100 billion. So you need about 45 billion
more. Where are you getting that from?
Exactly, that's the question. So you have to look within before, because the more you go out, as we've been doing from 1966 till date, it has improved wealthy.
But
you are not bringing e-levy. You are saying you are bringing e-levy to go and do more borrowing. So who are you kidding? E-levy is not to pay your debt.
Those are the Rose Minister's words.
Kwame, please, assuming you have a revenue stream. I made that analysis earlier.
Right.
If you have a salary and you go to the bank knows that you get this amount of money every month.
So it's guaranteed.
It's easy
for them to give you money.
Give you a facility.
Has it helped us so far with ESLA?
Allow him.
All right, okay.
It is better than you going to borrow at the back of nothing.
But are we not at a weak end in terms of borrowing?
That is what we've done, and we've gotten to the stage where about 75% of our debt to our GDP. That is a risk.
It's more than 80 actually.
It's about 80 or so. So that is a risk. It's the biggest risk. Should we continue the way people are proposing, go to IMF? It's not free.
But if you have you have the e-levy done, like the Rose Minister said, you are going to securitize it to be able to get some more funds in.
No, but that's why I'm saying that is your revenue. But in absence of that, you don't have any revenue against it.
Okay.
You go to the capital market and go and borrow.
So there's no surety.
And we've done that for years, and we've gotten to where we are today. And we are raising the red flags. So why? Should people continue to fund the economy for you all the time? You should be able to look at how you can fund your economy. So listen, this issue of school fees, I mean, there's an exemption that if you are paying school fees, you are exempted from the payment of the e-levy. It's exempt. So if you want to pay a school fees, I mean, there's a process. These are
a sequel. But if I heard Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta on the 17th of November, he was very specific. Remittances, electronic. He was very
but in that we knew when the bill was coming, they will categorize all these exemptions, and it's there.
No,
so please,
Hughes, let me get something clear. I'm saying that
yes,
when I'm sending money from
then you are not paying
TV3
fees. You are not paying fees
to somebody's phone for her to pay, because
then you are not paying
currently
fees.
You are
not paying
hold
fees.
on. Can you pay? Can I be here and pay somebody's school fees at Cape Coast through online easily?
No.
So I need to send him exactly. So the finance minister will pretend that he's not aware that the money is for school fees. So pay anyway. It is only when the person is using the money to pay the fees.
If you want to go that way, everybody want to send Momo. We tell you I'm going to pay school fees. I'm going to do. But
it's a reality.
But is government paying attention to the possible attrition rate of people shunning away from?
But if you ask me, look, payment of taxes everywhere, including myself, is painful. So obviously, there will be some attrition at the early stages. I tell you, look, the cost of not using Momo as against using Momo is more expensive than for not using. Oh, please, Kwame is here. He has to send money to his.
I would delete my Momo account the day.
Oh, that would be
this is a very serious thing.
I'm telling you, because you see, look, it just appears to me that government sees me as a cash cow. That after taking me all taxes, the way I spend my money, apart from the indirect taxes, you want to take.
You say you would delete your Momo
account. I would delete my Momo account.
You know what interesting thing?
I will oppose it to the end.
Do you know what interesting thing? Do you know what interesting
Tell
thing?
me.
You see, Momo is not a mandatory tax. The e-levy is not a mandatory.
Pay as you go.
Yes, it's not a mandatory.
It's just like saying briefing is not a compulsory. You can hold your nose if you don't want to brief. It's just like saying that. It's just like saying briefing is not compulsory.
It is
because nobody is forcing you to brief.
You cannot. Of course. It's not a mandatory task. So that is why I say that. Look, even the projections of government, it could be lower. I mean, we've had projections.
In fact, we say you can spend up to 145 billion.
Yes.
So nobody has put a gun on the government's head.
No, but you have approved a policy that requires that amount of money.
You've approved
a policy. But your side supported government, and even that did appropriations and estimates.
Yes, you've done all that.
What government was asking for.
You have done that already. You have forgotten. We have rejected that budget.
You haven't.
Have you forgotten?
You haven't. The appropriation. I was in parliament with you.
Budget.
The president of the appropriation. You were there.
Oh, you see, the same people say that let's make progress. We have rejected the budget. When they came and used all sort of unorthodox ways and said approved it. In the interest of progress, we decided that let's go and do the appropriation bill, because you see, the appropriation bill is just how do you call it? Approval of the policy of the government. Yes. However, if you get to the nitty-gritty of revenue versus expenditure, we'll deal with that. And we are saying that as a principle, we are opposed to the e-levy. We can discuss all of that as we speak. We have approved.
You are senior in parliament. A policy of government came to parliament. You've approved the policy with reservations on e-levy. we went for appropriation. The yield levy appropriation was equally passed. From the committee level, we approved appropriation. What it means is that the government has to rake in the revenue. So when you say you've approved 145 billion for government to spend,
they say up
it means
I keep saying
it is up
you
to.
can say up to. It's the wording is always clear. Up
so
to.
you can underspend.
In fact, the government can decide that we are not taking any tax.
Yeah.
In any case, we have approved for them to take road toll.
And
that they not decided they are not taking road toll.
Up to it means that you can either overspend or underspend.
No, if you overspend, you have to go to the.
It cannot be above.
It cannot be above. It can be up to.
The classical example is they decided that there was a revenue stream that is about 78 billion. In fact, we were prepared to help government raise road tolls up to 200 million, even if it to jack up the price. In fact, if I use a 4x4 and you say currently we are paying what 1 cedi, okay, those categories of people like him and myself can pay 4 cedis or something like that.
Yeah.
It will be fair.
Right.
You understand? Draw jack up small so that we can get 200 million. That could be that. Within 3 years, we can even finish the motorway.
The roads minister said, in fact, the majority leader said there were fights at the 38 polling stations, and the road minister said there was no.
Let me tell you,
financial law that was occasioned.
You keep mentioning the road minister.
Right.
He's fond of coming back to say that what he said, you and I misunderstood him. So I am careful when you are mentioning his name. He said it quite clearly.
But it was on tape.
That we are going to securitize road fund. It was a question I asked him. In fact, it has nothing to do. The question I asked him has nothing to do with e-levy.
Right.
But as usual, he got boisterous and then brought the issue in. He says that here there's no loss of financial loss, and I put it to him. The budget was read on the 17th of November
right.
and approved around 20th of December. The finance minister was clear in his language. When this budget is approved, we intend to zero rate road tolls in this country
from 2022.
So minimum 6 million Ghana cedi have been lost as the direct decision, illegal decision of the road minister. Today, NPP is in government. Nobody will touch him. Nobody will find him to have willfully caused financial loss to the state, because the Attorney General and everybody, they are people. In the future, there could be a government that says that notwithstanding, at least there was a financial loss between the 17th of November and 20th of December, which somebody must account for.
You will pursue that.
The talk about there was fighting. Mr. Hughes, produce a tape where you saw Ghanaians fighting at toll booth. That thinking is only in the head of the road minister. It does not exist.
Will you pursue this matter of causing financial loss to the state?
I am not Ghana. Whether I'll have a voice at the time, I don't know. But I am sure one day a reasonable Ghanaian will make that determination that at least between the 17th and the 20th of November and 20th of December, there has been a financial loss to the state through an illegal act of a road minister. I don't know who is going to do that.
Sly, what do you say? The roads minister said no loss has been occasioned. Of course, he's a lawyer. He's a senior in parliament as well.
Well, for me,
he's a cabinet minister, so I'm sure he has firm footing. He knows what he's talking about.
On the face of the evidence that we are not collecting the road tolls, obviously, it means that we haven't raking some revenues that ought to have come to the state. Sure. I mean, that's on the face of it. I mean, everybody who lives in the country knows that we haven't had revenue from the road toll since the decision to cancel or to stop the collection of the road toll. So naturally, I mean, this is, but of course, on the back of the fact that we're going to get e-levy, and government had its own plans to rake in revenue. You see, naturally, look, I have called for the removal of the toll booths in my constituency on many occasions.
Why?
Or relocation, as it were. It's in the middle of the community.
Right.
And it impeding free flow of traffic. You can stay about 2-3 hours just to go and pay 1 cedi to cross that toll.
But people say nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
It has changed. Talk to the people. Yes, after we had
they
to
say the police barrier there is the problem.
We've removed a lot of blockades on that road, and
So
we have relocated. We've relocated the parking space of the trotros at that place, and ask people
further forward.
Yes, ask people since we've done that. there's a free flow of travel. That's where I use every day.
No, I agree with him on that one.
So seriously, I call for re-engineering or relocation of that toll booth.
I'm 100% with him on that. But you can use technology.
But re-engineering includes what, making it a washroom?
Oh no, please. I am calling for re-engineering. Means you can use technology.
Yeah. You go through. There's no barrier. You go through.
You see,
a camera records you.
Yes.
He gives you 24 hours. You don't pay. It becomes a criminal offense.
So you see, the whole thing in this country, for me, it is true that we will not make some revenues. But if government look at its sources of revenue, and you see, road tolls in some jurisdictions, I've been in the state with a friend. He drove through there, and then I said, oh, they kept deducting from his account.
Right.
Until the last one we're going, he didn't have enough in his account. But I said, look, this one I'll pay double.
Yeah.
Because it's automatic deduction.
Exactly.
E-deductions.
Yeah. I will support that kind of
seriously.
But Tema Motorway has those cameras, so I don't
but
know why we don't use them.
it doesn't synchronize
I will
the
show
payment.
you
We're still doing
the expenditure they've just completed in terms of updating the toll booth, and then just stop it. That is another set of willfully causing financial loss to the state.
See.
Well, I mean that's why you
can do it later. But
so
like,
seriously speaking, I think that we need to look at our revenue streams as a country.
Okay, Michael, hold on for me a second.
We can't
let's
continue to be dependent on others to develop our country. It hasn't proven successful.
I'm interested in this. Michael, give me a second, please. So there were persons living with disability.
Yes.
Who were working at the toll booths.
Yes.
They were asked to go home, and that alternative jobs will be created for
Yesterday,
them.
I met them in my constituency.
Right.
The association.
What is their status?
I mean, it came up in their discussion. At least 5 of the association members are employees of the Ghana Highway Authority, the toll booth.
Do they have jobs now?
Well, they haven't been redeployed.
But that was what
but their salaries, I've asked them, they keep paying their salaries until alternative opportunities are created for them. So that one is another issue that we have.
Kwame, what do you know? Finally, 30 seconds.
No, they have not been redeployed, and I condemn that behavior. They did not decide not to work. So give them work to do. They didn't ask you to give them money to sit in the house. They actually moved to go and work. It's another deception the government brought in. So as we speak, apart from the disabled people, all the rest have been summarily dismissed. No job, no salary. What about them?
I hear you. Kwame Agboja is the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Adaklu constituency. We call him Adaklu Messiah around here.
You want to give me trouble?
Yes. I like trouble always. And also my very good friend, Sly Tete, he is the Member of Parliament for the Botiano English Amanfro constituency, one of the biggest in the country. Yeah, he's a big man. He's handling plenty problems. Big problems in the place. Well, thank you very much indeed. Robert Kuma says, tell my good friend Kwame and Sylvester that they need AstroTurf in their constituencies. The youth needs it. So he said I should tell you, you have one. You don't have one.
Tell Robert not to bring himself. The discussions I had with him.
And it says, well, lawyer Dafio Meko says, Sylvester is getting it wrong. That indirect taxes are unquantifiable, and so we can't plan with it. Indirect taxes are equally quantifiable. Reference the 2021 GRA end of year total tax revenue for Ghana indirect tax features well in there. He should be guided, please. Okay. If e-levy has been approved, why have they introduced a new bill for it? It's because it's completely a new tax regime requiring new legal regime. Thank you very much, lawyer, for your time. Neil Ante Vanderpoy says, Johnny, please tell Sly that if you need 137 billion and you can only have 130 billion, cut your expenditure. That's all. You can't spend what you don't have. You cut your coat according to the size of your cloth. It's a long philosophy. The Agabaka to salary. Ambassador Sampiali says Ghana is an interesting country. Seriously, how can a government that condemned the imposition of taxes to pay for the energy sector bills now turn into apostles and teachers of taxation? Why are they interested only in exacting financial pain on the ordinary Ghanaians, that cutting their own salaries and allowances? This is suffering in the land. Well, we will go for a quick break. Now, when we return, there's more here on TV3 New Day. But let me say a very quick happy birthday to Lorna Bimpong at Patasi Police Depot. Your fashion designer, today is your birthday. And also to you, Major Alice Anoy of the Ghana Military Police Headquarters, Middle Lines, Burma Camp. Happy birthday to you. And to also Marcus Sancta Peng Jr., a happy birthday. You are 18 today. This is from your father, Stephen Pen of the Wa area. Thank you very much indeed for watching. We'll see you after the break.
So that mom can be able to open the door. This is it.
Here's my little brother doing something special. He's setting the camera up with another bright idea.
Let's just open the door.
Yay!
Mom, I got this.
Now you can be part of the extraordinary world of endless possibilities on Vodafone. With the best value and amazing data offers and services available in Ghana, your dreams are achievable. Get more for less with Vodafone data.